How to stop procrastinating. Imagine it's the evening and you're finally planning to work on a project you've been procrastinating on for a long time. You open your laptop, ready to get started, but just as you're about to begin, a message from social media pops up. You reply to the messages, and before you know it, you've checked several different groups and even watched a few videos on YouTube. Suddenly, you realize that almost an hour of your time has been wasted. You put your phone down and say to yourself, "Now I have to get back to work." You open your laptop again, but before you start, your mind begins to make excuses. "I'm really tired today. Maybe I should take a short break or grab something to eat so I can come back with more energy." Hello, and welcome to my channel. In this video, we will learn how to stop procrastinating. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video so we can continue with the rest of the video together. You pour yourself a cup of coffee and sit down at your desk to take a little break. Just as you're ready to start working, your phone rings. It's your friend calling, and you talk for a few minutes. After the call, you decide to get back to your work. But just as you're about to start again, your brain tells you, "I'll have a quick snack, then I can start with more energy." So you go and have a small snack and come back. Once you're ready to begin, your brain now tells you, "I'm really tired now. It's better if I rest a bit and start fresh tomorrow." You close your laptop and set your alarm for 6 a.m. After making this decision, you find yourself once again scrolling through social media. 1 or 2 hours pass with your phone, and you realize you've fallen behind on your work once again. The next morning, at 6 a.m., when your phone rings, you wake up for a moment and instinctively put your phone on silent or turn it off. You tell yourself to sleep for just 5 more minutes. This cycle continues for the next few days until you approach the final deadline. Just as you get closer to the deadline, your anxiety peaks. Your brain tells you, "If I don't finish this by now, everything might fall apart. I could get a bad grade, or my project might be rejected." This anxiety in the final moments makes you stay up all night, working on your task. But you're unsure whether the work is done with enough quality or not. These events typically occur for those who procrastinate. Scientifically, procrastination is the act of delaying tasks that need to be done and are important. In the following, we will explore how we can change this habit and complete our tasks on time. Dr. John Brown, 7 years ago, gave a talk at a TED event about his personal life and procrastination. This video has now been viewed over 47 million times, and after it was released, he became one of the well-known figures in understanding procrastination behaviors. The question now is, why did he attract so much attention? In this 13 or 14-minute speech, Dr. Brown presents an interesting picture of what goes on in the mind of a procrastinator. He says there are 3 main characters in the minds of procrastinators. The first character is the rational decision maker in our minds. He is called the rational decision maker and is responsible for making decisions that benefit us in the long run. He guides long-term planning and makes decisions that align with our future interests. However, he is not alone. If he were, we would always make good decisions that benefit us. The second character is a monkey seeking instant pleasures. This monkey is only after immediate gratification and avoids hard work and difficult tasks. It focuses solely on momentary pleasures, and as soon as the rational decision maker tries to start a task, the monkey intervenes and reminds him that the task can be done later. It also suggests that instead of doing something useful, we could do something that makes us feel good, like checking Instagram or watching YouTube. This cycle continues until the third character enters the scene. The third character is the panic monster. This character enters the picture when you are close to a deadline, the final submission of a project or task. The panic monster sends you a message that if you don't submit your work, something bad might happen, causing great anxiety and stress. As a result, you do everything you can to complete the task, even without caring about the quality of your work. All of these characters mentioned are noted in most scientific resources on procrastination. Regarding brain functions, One of the prominent psychologists in this field, Dr. Daniel Goleman, author of famous books on emotional intelligence and the human brain, explains how different parts of the brain, including the prefrontal cortex, limbic system, and amygdala, affect human behavior. Dr. Goleman states that a person's ability to control emotions and make logical, long-term decisions depends on the functioning of these parts of the brain. In fact, the same reactions and neural mechanisms that are activated in response to stress and anxiety from approaching a deadline can lead to procrastination or pressure to complete tasks at the last moment. What has attracted many people to Dr. Goleman's lectures is his ability to explain the complex relationships between the mind and behavior in a simple and scientific way, helping people gain a better understanding of their behaviors and how to control them. Another prominent psychologist who has spoken about procrastination and its impact on personal life is Dr. John Gray. He is known not only for writing famous books like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, but also for his extensive studies in personal growth and behavioral psychology. Dr. John Gray has spoken about procrastination and how to cope with it in many of his lectures. He believes that procrastination usually occurs when we delay long-term tasks. In his books, he explains that when we are faced with tasks that don't have a specific deadline and there is no external pressure to complete them, we often postpone them. In Dr. Gray's view, the two main factors contributing to procrastination are: 1. Lack of immediate reward. He explains that one reason people tend to procrastinate on long-term tasks is that these tasks don't offer immediate rewards. In contrast, activities that provide instant happiness or satisfaction, such as browsing social media or watching TV, make the brain prefer engaging with them to enjoy that immediate pleasure. 2. Fear of failure. Dr. Gray mentions that people may experience a fear of failure or inadequacy when faced with large or long-term tasks. This fear leads individuals to procrastinate in order to avoid the pressure and stress associated with those tasks. In his talks, Dr. Gray explains that one of the biggest problems for procrastinators is that they are unconsciously unaware of their limited time. He says that in fact, our time is like a box filled with small squares, each representing 1 week of our life. When we think about it, we realize that our time is actually limited and should not be wasted recklessly. If we don't manage our time well, we will soon see that opportunities are lost and we won't be able to achieve our goals. What strategies are suggested to overcome procrastination? Dr. John Gray suggests scientific and practical methods to deal with procrastination, which are as follows. 1. Break tasks into smaller pieces. He believes that if we break large tasks into smaller sections, we will find them more manageable. This method reduces feelings of anxiety and fear about completing the task. It also helps the individual to make progress step by step instead of confronting a huge and overwhelming task. 2. Create immediate rewards. Dr. Gray suggests setting up immediate rewards for completing challenging tasks. This could be a short break, watching a video, or any activity that brings joy. These rewards help the brain find more motivation to complete important tasks. 3. Remind yourself of the importance of the task. Sometimes reminding ourselves why a task is important can encourage us to give it more attention. Dr. Gray says we should always remember why completing the task is important and how it can change our lives. 4. Manage the fear of failure. One of the key strategies to overcome procrastination is dealing with the fear of failure. Dr. Gray advises confronting the fear rather than avoiding it and turning it into an opportunity for learning. When we accept fear as a natural part of the learning process, we can easily overcome it. 5. Use self-awareness techniques. Dr. Gray also emphasizes the importance of being aware of your internal feelings and reactions. He says that when individuals become aware of their internal responses, they can change them and prevent procrastination. For example, when feeling tense or stressed, one should recognize that these feelings are a result of procrastination and take action to complete the task. 6. Create positive and regular habits. Dr. Gray explains that one of the best ways to overcome procrastination is to create positive and regular habits. These habits help individuals take small steps toward their goals every day, naturally avoiding procrastination. In conclusion, Dr. Gray emphasizes that procrastination is just a habit, and with effort and gradual change, it can be overcome. He says that true success is achieved when we use our time wisely and take steps toward our long-term goals. To implement the strategies mentioned, please continue watching the video. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with others to provide me with additional motivation. To implement the strategies mentioned, there are a few effective solutions suggested by Mr. Isle that can help us. These solutions are logically and step-by-step designed to help us effectively combat procrastination. He introduces 4 main stages, and by following them, we can leave procrastination behind and get to work. Step 1. Identify triggers. Triggers are factors that cause distractions and lead us off course. These triggers can be either internal or external. External triggers could include phone notifications, phone calls, or any other external factors that distract us. Internal triggers, such as anxiety, stress, or loneliness, arise from within and lead us toward external distractions like checking social media. Mr. Isle emphasizes that to combat procrastination, we must first identify and note our internal triggers. Many of us make the mistake of blaming external factors, when in fact, it is our internal triggers that first draw our attention to external distractions. Therefore, whenever we feel distracted, we should check in with ourselves and ask, what am I feeling? Are we anxious? Are we feeling lonely? By identifying these internal triggers, we can more easily avoid them. Step 2. The 10-minute rule. The 10-minute rule is one of the most effective strategies for dealing with sudden triggers. Whenever you have the urge to do something, tell yourself, I won't do this right now, I will do it 10 minutes later. This brief time gap gives you more time to think and ask yourself whether it's truly important to do that thing. Additionally, this time shows you that you have control over your behavior and mentally reinforce that you are an adult who can decide what actions to take and which ones to avoid. Many stresses and procrastination arise because we feel we have no control over our behavior. By applying the 10-minute rule, you place yourself in a position of control and can use the time to reflect and evaluate more carefully. Step 3. Time boxing. Time boxing means setting a specific time frame for each task. This helps prevent mental fragmentation and procrastination. For example, you might say, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. I will do this task, or from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. I will do something else. By setting specific time blocks for each task, you significantly increase the likelihood of performing it with more focus and without distractions. This approach allows you to work on your tasks with organization and planning and helps you complete them. Step 4. Schedule fun activities. A common mistake is engaging in pleasurable activities like checking social media or playing games without any clear plan. This can lead to a loss of control and result in procrastination. Instead of engaging in these activities randomly, it's better to schedule a specific time for them. For instance, you could say, tomorrow, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., I will spend time playing games. Or, between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. tomorrow, I will spend 1 hour on Instagram. This way, you separate leisure activities from main tasks and prevent distractions. By scheduling specific times, you have more control over your behavior and avoid straying from your main goals. Conclusion: Mr. Isle's 4-step approach provides a highly practical strategy to fight procrastination and build willpower. Identifying triggers, applying the 10-minute rule, using time boxing, and scheduling leisure activities can help us overcome procrastination and get more done. These strategies give us more control over our behavior and decisions, ultimately helping us reach our goals. In addition to the previous methods, there are other logical strategies that can help reduce procrastination. The first solution is that when we think about doing a task, like a large project or a study plan, our minds often envision the entire process. But the reality is, a lot of procrastination can be reduced simply by starting. That means the most important part is just starting. For example, if you need to study 5 chapters, tell yourself, I will just start with the first 5 minutes. Interestingly, once you begin, you often end up spending more time than just the first 5 minutes. This shows that the real problem lies in starting. Another solution is to break large projects into smaller, manageable sections. When you divide large tasks into smaller chunks, your brain gets the message that this task is doable, which reduces procrastination. When each small section is completed individually, you feel you can handle it, and the sense of achievement and capability motivates you to keep going. This way, you can gradually and easily complete large projects. If you've followed me so far, please don't forget to like the video, leave your comments, and share it with your friends.